Update on Zeta and the heavy rain that's going to be heading our way. Even though we have some rain this morning with the warm front, it's really tomorrow morning that we're watching for the potential for some heavy rain. Now, overnight, Zeta was getting very strong, a little concerning, was really starting to almost rapidly intensify. But the good news this morning, if you look carefully, the eye has kind of disappeared, and it looks like the intensity has leveled off. Let's look at the wider loop here. This is actually the infrared loop, and you can see at one point, we had a ragged looking eye there and convection wrapping around the center, which are the thunderstorms. That's a sign of strengthening. Now, it's still pretty potent, 85-mile-an-hour winds right now, but I like the look of the satellite imagery now compared to late last night when it looked like, holy cow, this thing was going to wrap up and possibly get stronger. There's still a potential. It could be a Cat 2 at landfall, so people in southeast Louisiana need to take this storm very seriously because it is going to pack a punch. Now, here was the forecast track. Well, let's see if it updates here real quickly. The track is going to take it right through southeast Louisiana, and it's going to rocket to the northeast, moving maybe up to 30, 35 miles an hour. So because of that fast forward speed, strong winds will be carried well inland. Now, I do think we will see strong winds here in the Carolinas, and to me, that's the biggest concern. So this was the 4 a.m. advisory. So by 2 a.m. tomorrow morning, it should be over central Alabama. And then by 2 p.m. tomorrow afternoon, it should be up in Virginia. So that's a huge distance there between, basically 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon. That's a 12-hour jump from central Alabama all the way up to central Virginia. So it's going to be flying. I don't expect a lot of shifts in the tracks over the next, I'd say, 12 hours or so. But count on this coming through during the morning hours tomorrow. Now let's talk about some of the impacts we're going to see, and then I'll show you the Futurecast. So first things first, I want to talk about the rain threat. This is one of those short-range ensembles we look at, and this goes out 36 hours, and it really highlights the area of biggest concern here in the mountains and foothills. You can see some of those ridges are getting up here around 4.5 inches of rain. I think that's going to be the high end for rainfall. 4 or 5 inches of rain in some of those spots. And we'll go and show you the WPC, which is the Weather Prediction Center. It kind of matches that very well. And I'll go into the Charlotte Metro, and you can see only about 1/2 inch in Charlotte and really tapers off east. But look at some of these totals. The Southwest Mountains up towards areas McDowell County, Upper Burke, Caldwell. I mean, Boone and Blowing Rock, Jonas Ridge, Linville Gorge, all the way down to Black Mountain and Mount Mitchell. They could be some significant rainfall there. Now, wind speeds. To me, this is the thing that has me a little wary because of the speed of the system and the jet stream energy. I do think we're going to see wind gusts, maybe approaching 50 miles per hour. This is the wide view, and I'll go in a little bit closer. But you can see these are the maximum wind gusts right now expected. And you're seeing a lot of up to 40, 45 mile an hour winds, and even in the mountains, some 40 or 50. Don't be surprised if the wind catches you off guard. And I should say it's not going to catch you off guard because I'm telling you, it's probably going to be something that's going to be pretty gusty tomorrow, especially for a narrow window during the morning to mid-afternoon. And that's enough wind, even without the lack of rain and even severe weather that I don't expect a ton of. The wind probably is going to be our biggest issue, bringing some trees, power lines, and limbs down. Now let's talk about the track of this thing. We'll show you the Futurecast and then talk a little bit about the severe weather risk. Okay, so here's kind of the surface map, and I'm going to stop this real quickly, and I'm going to show you. I've got the severe weather outlook for today put on there, and you can see we've got a medium threat for the Florida Panhandle, parts of Mississippi, and then this low risk coming up into Georgia and Alabama. So next I'm going to show you what this is going to look like tomorrow because eventually we're going to see that potential begin to shift off to the east. So that's day one, we call it. Day two, you can see tomorrow the severe weather risk is kind of an elongated, looks like an S here almost. Most of the Carolinas are in the yellow and then this little squiggly line. Now, I will tell you, down here I have a little bit more of a concern, and then eastern North Carolina. There's some huge question marks over basically the western Carolinas. How much instability are we actually going to have in place to produce severe weather? So we'll talk more about that in a minute, but I want to go back to the track. And one of the things I wanted to show you here real quickly is I'm going to show you the flash flood outlook. Oh, actually, I'm going to go back. I'm going to show you it on here because I think I could show it to you a little bit easier. So I'm going to turn those off, and we're going to show you the flash flood outlook for this. So this is today's flash flood outlook, and you can see the area in yellow highlighted there. That's the medium risk, and the green is the low risk. Let's go to tomorrow, and I'm going to turn off the radar so it's not in the way. But you can see the mountains is the area we're watching. So this is the heavy rain outlook. So severe weather outlook east, even though there's not a lot of rain. less severe weather west, but maybe more of a flood threat. So this is the low end risk for flash flooding there. And you can see that highlighted in the area in yellow. So this scale goes from low, medium, high, and extreme. So it's a 4-point scale. And, we're on number 2 there in that scale for heavy rain. So let's talk about the Futurecast, kind of show you how this unfolds. All right, this is what everybody wants to see, right? Futurecast. So we'll go into time, and you can see our systems coming together. We've got our low pressure here. We've got our tropical storm / hurricane, which is called our tropical entity. Starts to push inland. We'll go into tonight, and you can see the rain really spreading out to our west. And this is why we're kind of lucky, because we're seeing the drier side for most of the Carolinas. Though the mountains, you're going to see when the rain really starts to pick up. You're going to see rain tonight through tomorrow. That's kind of the beginning of this, but the heaviest rain is going to fall right with the slug of moisture associated with Zeta. Now watch this. This is going to start at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So this is 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Look at this heavy rain coming into the mountains and foothills. We'll go to 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m. So you got to get the idea. Those early morning hours before lunchtime is going to be the worst. So this is right around 11 or 12, excuse me. That's noon. This is 1. This is 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Now, we're in the afternoon. The slug of moisture with Zeta is way up here. It's long gone. But this is actually a cold front coming through, and so you can see some redevelopment. So believe it or not, I actually think maybe our highest severe weather risk, which is low overall, might actually come with the cold front and not so much with the remnants of Zeta. So you can see as I go through time, we'll see some scattered showers breaking out. So by 8 o'clock, we could see some scattered storms around for the Panthers game. Looks better than the heavier rain, but there's still some scattered storms. And you see that band of storms moving through. That's the actual cold front. So let's back this up and let's put some of the severe weather parameters on there. So one of the things I look at often for severe weather is what we call CAPE, right? It's thunderstorm fuel. Not a lot early in the day. So this is through 2 o'clock. But notice how it builds ahead of the cold front. So this is why I'm a little more wary of the cold front than I am of actually Zeta's remnants. So this is going into the evening. Look at, it's not off the charts. This is not spring or summer, but there's some thunderstorm fuel there with the cold front moving through right about that time. So let's go back to 2 o'clock. Let's look at updraft helicity, which is rotating storms. We'll do that at 2 p.m., 3, 4, 5. Let me go further out here. 5, 6, 7. Not a ton. You could see a couple down here. So there's not a huge, I would say, something that jumps off of this data that tells me a big severe weather risk. But there's enough with rotating storms that it's potential to keep an eye on it. So I think our biggest threat's actually going to come in the evening for severe weather, and the heavy rain threatened wind is going to come in the morning. But overall, if you're east of the mountains, the threat from this is primarily going to be wind. In the mountains, this is all about rain. Because it's been such a wet year, everything is saturated up there, and I do expect we'll see some flash flooding. And a flash flood watch has already been issued for most of the mountains for that reason. Yeah, and I can show you that flash flood watch has been issued. That's the area in green. So that's a flash flood watch that is for all the mountains and foothills through late tomorrow. So it looks like it goes through 2 p.m. on Thursday. So primarily for tonight and tomorrow. So be weather aware. I'll be tracking this. It is going to be an interesting Thursday. The good news, it's in and out quickly by Thursday night into Friday. It's long gone, and we're talking about a cold, dry weekend.